a Seattle police officer's body-worn camera captures what sounds like a callous disregard for human life.
I think she went up on the hood, hit the windshield, then when he hit the brakes, flew off the car. But she is dead.
What?
That's the voice of SPD Officer Detective Daniel Otterer. It's recorded January 24th, one day after a woman, 23-year-old John V. Kundula, was struck and killed by another officer's squad car, while that officer was responding to a call.
Jesus.
Kundula was in a crosswalk when she was hit by the patrol car that was going 63 miles per hour in a 25-mile-per-hour zone.
So she was an innocent person minding her business, and the cop was going to...
Right. That's the one part that makes us even more callous. It's like, a lot of you motherfuckers will say, well, it was a criminal, should have complied, right? If you're on a high-speed chase or whatever. But what happens when you're an innocent bystander? You're just trying to cross the street and the police hit you. This is the reason why high-speed chases are not really allowed in most states. In most states, they don't permit the police to chase you. Yeah. Not that it's illegal for them to chase you, because they can, but...
You're putting more people at risk.
Right. A lot of police departments' policy is that if the chase goes on for a certain amount of time or reaches a certain speed, they give it up. Yeah. Unless you're like an escaped prisoner, like a murder suspect. If you're Luigi Mangione that chased you 200 miles an hour, that's for sure.
But if anything, they if it, like you just said, if it's a high speed chase where it's getting a little too extreme or too high in the
you give it up.
Give it up, but they have helicopters.
Right, but you just listen. This is one thing that people always say: you can't outrun a helicopter. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Give a fast enough car, you can 100% outrun that fucking helicopter. That's just airspeed limited to a certain speed. They need to go for gas, and there's only a certain amount of places they're allowed to fly. True. If you know how to get away from a helicopter, you can escape that shit. If you live in a place with long stretches of road. But even still, the safety of the public is more important than catching one criminal. Right. So you're going to go on a high-speed chase for however many miles across an entire county and fucking cause how many accidents to catch one person for what? And what if the thing you try to catch him for is ultimately like some minor shit? Yeah. It's not worth the damage you do. So that's why I was saying, if you're chasing after somebody who's like he did a murder, right? He's escaping, he's armed and dangerous, that type of shit, then maybe they keep chasing you. But like when they try to pull you over for like a regular traffic citation and you run, if that shit gets too fast, let him go, bro. Yeah. You're gonna give him a ticket. Who cares? But at least if you kill a criminal, they can be like, well, why was you running? Well, this, the other thing, right? But she did nothing wrong.
And he's laughing at the situation.
But that's funny? Listen, now, the assumption I'm going to make is that you white, the girl not white, you don't think her life means anything. So it's funny when you run her over. I don't think I'm not saying he's definitely a racist, and you're free to make whatever counter arguments if that you think are reasonable, right? I'm not denying that. But that being said, it's at least suspicious to me that you white, the other guy's white, she brown, and y'all laughing like it's funny. When I bet if he killed a little blonde girl that you wouldn't be laughing like that.
Nope.
Does not seem like there's a criminal investigation going on.
In a different portion of the call, the officer appears to be talking about paying off the victim's family, such as a monetary settlement, if the family were to sue the department.
Yeah, because you hit her.
No, it's a regular person. Yeah, just write a check. Just... $11,000. She was 26 anyway. She had limited value.
Seattle Police was flagged by a department employee.
I just want to know, what's limited value?
What do you mean by that?
Which people that are born in society have limited value? Everyone has the same value. Why would her value be limited? Why would it be less than anyone else? The only way I could like I just said, the only way I could conceivably think of you saying that is that if the person who got hit was a fucking criminal, who's a career criminal, or the suspect who you were actually chasing, some shit like that.
Right. Because not for nothing, strip off your cop uniform, let you cross the street,
and they hit you.
And they hit you. Guess what? You getting the same amount of attention as this woman is. Because
are you limited value now?
Right. You have the same value as her.
People have parents. People have kids, people have people have family. Like, what do you mean they're of limited value? They're not of limited value to their people.
You limited value. How dare you?
Right. This is what I'm saying. You're a rat. You and the guy he's talking to, I believe, is the union president or union vice president, police union. Let me tell you something. The head of the police union in New York is constantly saying bullshit. Every time the police do something wrong to somebody, he on with verbal diarrhea of the mouth, saying nonsense. Huh? And I'm not surprised that the head of the union in this state is just doing the exact same thing. Or in this city. I'm not surprised in any way.
Say the Office of Police Accountability is now investigating.
Yeah.
But that's not blunt.
And he had the audacity to say that shit on Bodycam. Nigga, there's a camera on you. And you just don't give a fuck.
Nope.
That's crazy.
Nope.
Impact for some.
I don't even have the words to describe how
Fucking
I feel.
rats.
I'm sickened, for one thing. And
Say it with your chest.
It's
Fuck 'em.
doing a lot of damage.
Victoria Beach works with new Seattle police recruits. Says she's hopeful for the future of the department, but is saddened to hear those words.
Yeah, right.
Somebody died. How do you laugh
Innocent
and joke about
person.
something like
Right.
that? Whether you agree or not, keep your mouth shut.
Right.
If you have comments like that, and especially you're an officer,
Right.
we don't need you.
Officer,
Right.
That's the whole point as to why you became an officer, to protect the people, the citizens, and yet you laugh at the citizen which you hit.
Which
Are
leads
you
me to
kidding?
believe that you only became a police to protect certain citizens and not other ones.
Or exercise your authority.
Over certain citizens and not other ones.
Hello.
Make it make sense to me. Why is this funny?
Right.
I don't get it. A little girl gets hit by a car and it's funny?
Right. Because you're supposed to protect that citizen.
Hey nigga, she was on the crosswalk too, so what's wrong with you? Huh? That's where you're supposed to cross the street. Huh? Get the fuck out of here.
All this
You're
comply.
not what
Officers
Seattle
ain't even
Police
following the
Department
rules.
No.
wants.
As for the officer heard in the video, King 5 has confirmed he's also the vice president of the Seattle Police Officers Guild, the largest law enforcement labor union in the Northwest. The Guild did not return a request for comment.
Of course they
I
didn't.
bet.
Why
In
would
a
they?
statement, the Seattle Police Department says it's been in touch with the family of the victim and continues to honor their express
Sue
request
them
for privacy.
immediately.
They add that as others in the accountability system proceed with their work, the department extends their deepest sympathy for this
Yeah,
tragic
I bet
collision.
you did. If you're gonna do over twice the speed limit and you're not even, this isn't actually a high speed chase, right? I gave you high speed chase logic because that's the most justifiable situation in which a police could be driving that fast, right? Getting to the scene is a little bit less of urgency, honestly, because you don't necessarily know what's there or who else is already there,
Yeah.
or whether the necessity of your speed is imminent, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
It's like, do you actually need to go that fast, or are they, because you're going to be the first one there and you need to stop the crime, or are they already there and you're just going to show up to be backup, in which case you really don't need to drive
Right,
3 times the speed limit, right? As opposed to the exigency or the urgency of a high-speed chase. You're the first cop. You're the closest to the suspect.
Right.
You see him fleeing.
Right.
So that is the most urgent that you could be as a police in trying to drive your car fast.
Yeah.
In order to try and justify why you're driving your car fast. It's not like he's not allowed to drive his car fast to the scene,
Right.
but the reasonableness of his actions under the circumstances will determine
Was not warranted.
No, well, they weren't. But what I'm saying is the reasonableness of his actions under the circumstances will determine the scope of his liability. Will determine how at fault he is
Right.
for hitting the pedestrian.
Right.
Right? And that will determine whether it's $11,000 or much more than that.
Yeah.
Right? It depends on what level of negligence, if any, is ascribed to you.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Because when the police department already don't think you should have been driving that fast already,
Yeah.
because they don't seem to be coming out to defending you. They're just not saying nothing.
Yeah.
That's what happens when the police when the police think one of their own does wrong. They don't ever come out and say he's wrong. Not unless it's like super egregious.
Yeah.
They'll just say nothing. They won't defend you. They'll say nothing and let everyone rip you apart.
Yeah.
And that's what they should do to these two. If you and the rest of the police, y'all not like these two weird niggas, throw them both under the bus.
I mean, wouldn't it necessarily be that they're not helping him, but yet they'll help him in a sense that
No,
they'll
no,
facilitate with
their
a
help.
lawyer.
Well, of course, they'll
Right.
always
They're like,
do
this
that.
is what you need to do. You need to get this lawyer, whatever, but it's above us now. Like,
They'll-
we can't help you.
They'll always do that. But what they won't do is, what they won't do basically is they're not, if they think he's wrong, they're not going to come out and say what he did was right. They might, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyway, y'all.
This is crazy.
Y'all let me know what you think. This is
is
appropriate behavior for someone who's supposed to protect and serve?
No.
Right? Protect and serve all the citizens? It's funny when we run down innocent pedestrians? That's what we doing? You're no better than these criminals who you hate so much. I don't want to hear it.
Yep.
Nonsense.